Hi, and welcome to the Middle Room Workshop. Today, I'm going to show you part 1 of LaserGRBL tutorial. In this part, we are going to talk about the interface and also how to operate with the machine through the software. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, in this part 1 of the tutorial, I'm going to explain all the parts of the interface, and then I'm going to show you also what each part is doing and how to operate with it. And then at the end, I will show you an actual engraving in action. Now, I have already uploaded an introductory tutorial on LaserGRBL about 6 months ago. However, I've received a bunch of comments, so I've decided to go ahead and to basically do an in-depth tutorial. Now, I could have done everything in a single video, but that would have taken like 15 minutes or 1 hour. So I've decided to basically split the tutorial into multiple parts. I'm not yet sure how many there will be, but I think there will be 4 to 5 parts, so that you can basically go ahead and select and watch the video that you are mostly interested to. In the description below you will find the link to the previous and to the next videos, and also at the end of the video you will see the connection to the previous and the next videos as well. Now, in this part 1 of the tutorial, I'm not going to show you how to load in files or how to work with different type of files. And so for this reason, I have prepared ahead of time a project already loaded in and settled to work. I have also prepared some, actually performed some action with the machine, so that we can have these G codes written over here, so that I can basically show you everything how it works. This tutorial is going to be carried out on LaserGRBL version 4.6.2. However, what I'm about to show you will basically be the same for previous version of LaserGRBL, as the interface haven't been changed for quite some time now. Alright, so the first and most evident section in the interface is the central one, which is the canvas. That's where the preview of your project is going to show up, along with the reference axis, which you can see over here, denoted in black and with numbered in them. The small cross, this violet or magenta cross, represent where is the laser right now. So the position of the laser is basically at the dead center of our project. Now, the default origin for the software is the top left corner, which is over here. However, I will show you how you can basically change the position of the laser. On the top right corner, we will find some information about the current position of the laser, as well as when you are actually engraving. You will see the X and Y position, the feed rate, and the power of the laser itself. By the way, if you are interested to know more about the meaning of those letters, I've made a video a while back talking about G code, so it's an introductory tutorial there, and I'm showing what all of these things mean. So I would highly recommend you to go and have a look on that. Okay, now let's first start with the top. Here on the top we have the menu. This is a typical menu that you will find in most softwares, and in a while we'll go inside and check the submenus. Then on the top right corner we get the control, actually the connection section over here, with the port and with the baud rate, as well as the button to connect and disconnect respectively, based on whether the machine is already connected or not. Then below we have the section related to the file. So here you can see this is the file that is currently being previewed into the canvas. Next to it you will find a easy button to open a file. Then below you will find a progress bar. This will basically show the time elapsed when you are engraving, and also visually will show a bar that is loading, so to let you understand the percentage, let's say, even if it doesn't explicitly give you a percentage of the project. Then next to it you will find the number of passes. That's basically going to repeat as many times as many you want the project. So say for instance you want some project to actually be cut, and you know that you will need a few passes to actually cut through the material that you have in the machine. So in that case you are enabled here to actually go ahead and crank up the number, so it will actually repeat the G code. And then next to it you have the play button or run program, as it says into the tooltip. So this will basically launch the engraving to the machine. Then below we have the G code section. Okay, so the first part is the input bar. Here you can basically type in some G code and to send it to the machine, also while the machine is engraving. So that's something cool that you can do, and if you are into G code you will know also what to do with it. Below that we have G code logging area. So here basically the machine logs in all of the commands that are being executed by the machine. So in this particular instance I've been just moving, homing, and setting up the 0 reference point. But while it's engraving you will basically see all of the movement with power, feed rate, and so on. Okay, so that you can basically have a quick view to what is going on under the hood. Below the G-code section we get this jogging control. That's basically a section that will allow you to manipulate, to manually operate the machine. So you will basically be able to move the axis according to the arrows, as you can see over here, up and down, left and right, and so on and so forth. You also have diagonal. Now on the left side you have the feed rate. That's basically going to change the speed. So let's crank the speed up. You will see that now the machine goes faster. Let's put the speed down and you will see that now the machine is slower. Now on the right side you will instead see the step count, or in our case we are going to record how many millimeter is going to move the axis. So let's say we will move 10 millimeter, so it will move 10 millimeter in whichever direction you are going to say. Now in the middle we have the homing button. However, this is the homing to the custom set 0 point, and I will show you in a while what I mean by that. So if you click on it, this will go back to whichever has been the last custom 0 point, which is anywhere within the working area. So as you can see, this does not reach the actual 0,0 or the origin of the axis of your particular machine. To do that you will need to use this button over here, but we will go into it in a little while. Then all the way to the bottom we will find the line counts over here. So that's basically telling you how many lines are within this project. Now you might already notice that you don't count this many lines over here, but this line counts doesn't only count in the vertical direction, it counts also on the horizontal direction. So and the preview doesn't necessarily render all of the lines that are going to be engraved, so that's just giving you a general preview. Then next to it you will find the buffer, and next to it you will find the estimated time. Now this is a rough estimate on how long the machine is going to take to perform your project, to actually engrave your project. And you will notice that depending on the complexity of the machine, this might vary widely from the reality, because obviously there is an algorithm that is calculating the time, and you should know more on how the algorithm is actually calculating the time. But still, it's a very good estimate from what I can say. Now, sticking to the bottom of the software and moving towards the right, we will find the override section. For this section, if you click anywhere, you can see it's the same pop-up. You will have these sliders where you can override the power of the laser, the linear speed of the axis, and then this is the rapid move. It's basically the speed of the axis while the machine is not engraving, which is a different type of movement. This is normally a G0 if we speak in G code, and you can see over here, in fact, it's G0. And then all the way to the right, we will find the status of the machine. Now, right now the machine is doing nothing, so it's basically idling. Now, moving to the button section over here, as you can see, this section have button on the left side as well as on the right. Now, on the right side, just to cover them real quick, you will find a button to freeze or hold or pause your project, and the button to resume, and we will see that in action in a while. And then on the left side instead, the first three buttons, which are basically equal for any software, they will basically enable you to, one, to reset the G code over here. You can see it's clearing everything up and any other settings. The second one, it's homing. This is actually taking you to the home of your machine, so to the hand of the axis, where micro switches will let the software understand that that's the 0,0 coordinate system. Okay. Now this lock, or actually I should say unlocking button, you will rarely use it. So if the machine runs into a problem, some kind of trouble, anything, basically the machine and the software actually will go in protection. And that's because if you have some problem, for example, the machine might lose track of where it is, or let's say, for instance, the machine has been manually moved while was engraving, or is jamming, or anything like that. So in order to be able to actually operate the machine, once again, you will need to click this unlock button, and this will give you the possibility then to go back to the home axis and then to perform anything else with the software. Over here, we will find instead a set of quick actions buttons and also custom buttons. So if you install the version 4.6.2 and also some earlier version, you will see that you have this set of buttons over here, all the way to the blink button. You won't find these two buttons, which are custom buttons, and I will cover them into the advanced tutorial. Now, with the first one over here, you will be able to set your custom 0 point. So that means a point that the machine registered as being the 0,0, okay, even though it's not the physical 0,0 of the axis. So let's say, for instance, to move somewhere sorry about that, to move a little bit, and now I'm going to basically click on it when it's enabled, and you see that now it's gray. That's because we are still on the same point. Now what happened is that if I move anywhere else, okay, and I click now this home button over here on the center of our jogging control section, it will go back to the 0 point that we have settled up. This is good because we are basically establishing our reference frame, and we are creating the limit on where the project is going to be engraved, because otherwise this will take back to the home axis. So we want to avoid having that kind of problem. So the first thing to do when we are engraving or anyway running any kind of project with LaserGRBL and in general with any other software and machine is to basically set our custom 0 point, the G92 or the G94 or whatever it happened to be based on the hardware you have. All right. Then we have these buttons over here. They will basically perform these three buttons, actions related to the project that you have loaded in. Now, as you can see, as I said at the beginning, I've loaded this project and I have settled the 0 reference point at the dead center of the project itself. So now with these three buttons, we will be able to move in different locations related to this framing system. Now, the first one will be centering. So it will take the laser to the center of the geometry that will then be engraved. So in this case, it's doing nothing because the center corresponds to the 0,0 axis. Okay. Then the second button will move the laser pointer to the bottom left corner. So when I click, you will see a rapid movement that goes to the position. And then the third one, which is in my view the most important one, will basically create an outline of the geometry. So if you click on it, you will basically see that the machine performs an outline. And this is very important for two reasons. One, it will allow you and easen up the job of aligning the workpiece if, for example, you have some particular geometry to take into account or alignment. And secondly, if you have other geometries or other engraving within the same workpiece, you will be able to basically see visually where the project is going to be engraved. So you will basically be cleared of everything else. Then these two buttons over here, they are useful for one is going to allow you to focus the laser. So say for instance you are in a bright room and you need to focus your laser. So what this will do is will crank up a little bit the power, so the brightness of the laser, so that then wearing your safety goggles you will be able to see a nicer, brighter spot and will make your life in focusing the laser much easier. As you can see, I can put that on and then off again. So this is a two-state type of button. Then next to it you have a blink, and that's simply going to show where is the laser. Let's say you don't see the laser, so you just click once and now you can visually locate your laser. Now these two, as I say, they are custom buttons. This has been downloaded. This is a personal button that I have created, but I will cover them into the advanced future. Now before to get into the engraving itself, let's go very quickly into the submenus of the menu here on top. So under GRBL you will find some of the buttons that are already covered within the interface. So you will have the disconnect button, which you can also find here. Then the reset, the homing, and the unlock, which are the same three buttons that were over here. Then we have the GRBL configuration and settings. This is something that I will cover into the advanced tutorial. Then this is a material database, and it's something very handy. So basically, as you progress along your experience with your laser engraver, you will basically fine-tune the settings for the various materials, machine, thicknesses, and whether you want to engrave or cut and so on. And basically, LaserGRBL is giving you this database page where you can save your personal settings. As you can see, it comes preloaded with some settings where there are specific type of machine, Ortur, Atomstack, Sculpting, Comgo, and so on, the type of material, the action, whether it is engraving or cutting, the thickness, the power, the speed, the cycle, and the remarks. I mean, they are all self-explanatory. And here at the bottom, you can basically enter new entries, just simply typing, and then you can go further. And although you are not able through the software to utilize the software directly with one click, okay, however, it's good because it is a database, and these are information that you would anyway save somewhere on a piece of paper, or I don't know, in some other form of database like Excel, Access, whatever. Okay, so that's something cool to have. Then back to GRBL, we have the hotkeys. So as any software, you have shortcut keys, so combination of keys that you can click and the software perform certain actions. And here you can see a broad list of them. You can also customize them, so you can change them, and then you can save your custom hotkeys. Then, so going to file, you will see open file, append file, reload file, quick save, advanced save. So these are all buttons that I will show you once we talk about loading files, and that's gonna be for the next tutorial. Now down here you will see the send to machine, so that's basically over here, the same button. And then send from position. Send from position, it basically, if you click on it, you will see a pop-up window. It will tell you it will ask you from which line you would like to start the engraving. So say for instance, you know that you want to start from above the door over here, and you happen to know the line count. You can tell the machine that you want, for instance, start from line 54, line 500. And so you will basically click on OK, and it will start. So that's something that it could be useful for particular type of project. All right, I'm not going to do that. Then to colors. Now, here you can customize the look of your program. For example, you got the dark, which is this theme over here. You got the hacker, which is this theme over here, and then you got the NEJE, which is this theme over here. Then if you go into blue laser, it will reset to the standard, the default theme, which is the theme that you will find when you download the software for the first time. And then you have blue laser and red laser. So as you can see, blue laser shows red lines and red laser shows blue lines. I'm not particularly sure if this is a bug or if it is something done in default, I mean deliberately. If it is deliberately, the only reason I could think of to have this inverted color, it's because of the way the protective glasses are working for the two type of colors. Then you have the language, which is self-explanatory. Tools, here you can install drivers and flash your firmware if you need. And then over to the question mark, you will see you have the auto update. By the way, if your software is out of date, you can basically come over here and to check it now. So here you can enable and disable the automatic updates, or to ask for notification on pre-release. Then down here you will find the session log. So basically LaserGRBL is keeping a log of all the operation that you do with the machine. That means all the project that you are running, when you are opening, and all this bunch of things, as you can see over here. And down you can also activate an extended log, so basically will ask you to save a file, and then it will update this file for you. That's something that you might be interested in too. And then the remaining one are self-explanatory: helpline, frequently asked question, community, then donation, and license. Now, I think it's time to launch finally this engraving. So let's do it together. Let's first bring the laser to a position that is favorable for our engraving. So let's crank up the step to 100. Let's go down. And again. All right, now let's crank this down. Let's move to the right. And then down again. Now let's lower down. All right, and now I will set my 0 point. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is to basically frame my project. And this, as you can see, have been showing me where the project is going to go. Now I think I'm good to go. I can simply click on play, and the machine will start engraving with whatever settings were settled for this specific project. Now, let's also perform some override. These are working also while the machine is engraving. So let's accelerate it. As you can see, this will progress easily to the final speed. You can increase a bit more. And let's increase the power instead. And again, this will gradually bring the machine to final power and speed. This is an useful feature that you can use if you notice, for example, that your engraving is not exactly going the way it was supposed to. So you can basically crank up the speed or lower it down, crank up the power, reduce the power, and do a whole bunch of things. So if, for instance, you notice that the material is getting cut, you can basically go down with the power, and you will avoid this effect. So this will basically save your project and will avoid you from wasting time and material. And that's basically it. Let me move the axis out of the way so you can see the project. Now, obviously, if you increase the speed, you know that your engraving effect will become lighter. If you increase the power, it will become darker and so on. So that's something that you will need to play around with. And with this, I think that I've covered everything about the interface and the functionalities of the various buttons into the interface. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any comment, leave them below. If you like the video, click the thumbs up button below. And do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this one. I will wait you on the next tutorial. Ciao for now.